Recap Relive. Woo! It's what the world is watching.
My guest today is perhaps more motivated than ever with two huge matches on his horizon. First, TNA Unbreakable, and then TNA Rebellion. Returning to the show, please say his name, TNA World Heavyweight Champion Joe Hendry. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thanks. How are you?
Good, good. And there it is. Yes, of course, the belt. And like I said, two huge matches. Before we get into it, though, I want to know, how is your rotator cuff doing since the injury?
It's getting there. We're working through it.
Good, good. So you're able to, is it any better since we first saw it happen? Progress, steady progress?
Day by day, it is getting better, but it's a constant battle because I need to work shoulders. I need to work out. So it's a bit of a balancing act, but we're getting there. We're working through it.
Good. You posted an incredible video a few days ago, surrounded by many Joe Hendrys, along with yourself, and I'm sure the will of the believers, is that helping the shoulder heal even quicker?
It's times 2, times 3 speed with all the belief that's going on.
What was your reaction seeing like 12 Joe Hendrys come your way that day?
It was honestly one of my favorite fan interactions that I've ever had, and I've had so many great ones. But just the fact that C2E2, which is like a comic book kind of pop culture convention, that many people would make the effort to do something like that, it just made my week.
It was awesome. Yeah. And it's like, I know you were talking about last time we spoke, like those special social media moments that will just go viral. Like that was perfect for that. So we've seen you have a friend in Elijah. You guys have done some great stuff together along the way so far. But he was the one that caused that injury, albeit it seemed inadvertent. I'm curious if there is any animosity or any trust issues brewing from your side, maybe resentment from Elijah causing that injury.
I don't think it was on purpose. I don't think is the key word. I don't think it was on purpose. That's the hypothesis that I'm moving forward with for now until proven otherwise.
Yeah, and that's fair. Yeah. Like I said, you two have done some great stuff together, and I'm excited. I'm excited for more duets, hopefully, down the road between you two. So hopefully it was by accident. But I wish you speedy recovery in time for TNA Unbreakable this Thursday as you and TNA Knockouts champion Masha Slammovich will take on Tessa Blanchard and Kazarian. That's going to be an awesome match to see. I love that the two champs side by side. Do you think this match will finally get Frankie to shut his mouth?
Well, unfortunately, I'm having to see Frankie an awful lot these days. As you know, we've got our title match coming up shortly after that. So, and I'm only going to be able to half shut him up in this match.
Yeah. What about the prospect of teaming with Masha Slammovich, who has like seriously put the Knockouts division on her back, really? She's doing incredible things since winning that title at Bound for Glory.
Masha's one of the best in the world. She's worked so hard to get to the position that she's in. And, she's a great Knockouts champion for sure. It's an honor to tag with her.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. And TNA Unbreakable in general, there's so much happening there. And I know a lot of diehard TNA fans are so excited to see it come back too. 2005 has a main event that a lot of TNA fans consider their favorite match of all time with Daniels, Joe, and Styles. Did you see that match?
Of course, of course.
What do you think of that match?
Well, obviously, it's a classic match that not only defined TNA, but also the modern style of wrestling.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It holds up incredibly well. I mean, I just watched that last night. Such a good match. Well, like I said, Unbreakable is really can't miss. You have a barbed wire massacre match. You have the celebration for the 2025 national champions, University of Nevada's own Skating Rebels hockey team. So I think if anyone doesn't have a ticket yet, they should go grab one. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Are you going to be watching that barbed wire massacre match with a close eye?
You know what? I'm going to be staying the hell away from that thing. I'm not a fan of deathmatch wrestling. That's why I sing songs, my friend.
And you do a good job doing it. Yeah. Well, I want to get to the WWE TNA partnership because you mentioned after Unbreakable, we have TNA Rebellion April 27th. And you're not only going to have Frankie Kazarian in there, but you're going to have All Ego, Ethan Page in there as well. Is there any added pressure in your mind heading into that match, still dealing with the injury?
Yeah, they say it's harder to keep the championship than to win the championship, and that is something that I'm going through right now. So yeah, I would say there's a lot of pressure right now. I feel like me moving forward with the championship is what's best for TNA, is what's best for the professional wrestling business. My shoulder might say otherwise, but I have to do my best to will this into existence.
Yeah. And we've said before, I mean, it's so cool to probably be champion right now, being able to defend that anywhere, anytime against anyone in any company. There, you got to have your head on a swivel, but it creates cool opportunities like all ego coming over. How will you survive being in the ring with so much ego at once, though, with Kazarian and Ethan Page?
Well, I've said this before. I think that, there are three huge egos in that match. And yeah, I'm sure we'll have a few moments where Frankie and Ethan will try to team up on me, but their own egos will get in the way. I think this will be a pretty evenly split triple threat. So I feel like the longer it goes on, any partnership that they might have, I don't see that lasting long. So I have to survive the initial flurry is how I think I progress in this matchup.
Who are some of the coolest people you've seen believe in Joe Hendry?
That's a good question. Damn, that's a tough one. Sometimes you do get shocked by realizing how far it's reached and how many people know about it. And, because I'm just kind of living it day to day, but like it is, I think what's always fun is when, you get a wrestling fan in the family and they say, oh, my mom doesn't like wrestling, my dad doesn't like wrestling, but they like your song type thing. That's a really cool compliment. So it's really cool when people tell me those stories at conventions and things like that. In terms of individual people, I need to think on that.
That's it. I mean, I remember Stanley Cup was an awesome time to see Joe Hendry
Yeah,
that
that
far.
was pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that definitely think about that. Yeah, because I feel like I haven't seen something take off like I believe in Joe Hendry in a long time.
Yeah.
Another piece of you that is so iconic is the Joe Hendry fit that we've seen the cosplayers, put to good use. Where did the blue, I think it's satin, I might be wrong, but that blue like satin material and the white pants come from?
I think it was just understanding that from my perspective, it's branding. A lot of the other wrestlers used to make fun of me for wearing the same thing every time, for not having different gear for pay-per-views and things like that. But I always believed that branding it's Mario, it's Sonic. People need to see the color combination hundreds of times before it's ingrained in their mind. Like it would seem ludicrous for me to wear different colors now, And so
Yeah.
that it was a choice that I made, and it was just choosing something and just, sticking to it over a long period of time.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's doing good. And I feel like, I don't know if you intended for the dividends to be cosplaying being like so easy for someone to come out and look just like you, but it's definitely paying off. Um,
Thank you.
well, is that with the blonde hair too? Did that all fit in together?
So with the blonde hair, I went into a store back in Scotland. I saw a bunch of wrestling action figures, and I just thought, man, if I was an action figure, I'd be pretty boring. At the time, I was just, trunks, brown hair, kind of just average physique. I was playing Fire Pro Wrestling as well.
Yeah.
And I thought, if I made myself, I wouldn't want to play as myself. People were making me in the game, and I was like, I wouldn't want to play as that guy, And then I thought,
Yeah.
what would make me want to play as myself? And it was in lockdown, and I'd never really seen wrestling from like the mid '90s. That was before I got into it, and I watched the rise of Psycho Sid, and he had blonde hair. He did a power bomb. He did a choke slam. And he was just about the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And so I took inspiration from that. I thought having the blonde hair would make me more exciting. And then genuinely, I made a version of myself in SmackDown 2, Know Your Role. And I based my look on what I made in SmackDown 2, Know Your Role. Because my viewpoint was, I need to be recognizable enough to you look at it and go, oh yeah, that's Joe Hendry, whether it's a PS1 game or Fire Pro Wrestling, or
Yeah.
even like so from the most simple, limited number of pixels, you could create me and everyone would know it was me. So yeah, there was a little bit of a Psycho Sid influence there.
That strategicness I love so much. Like it's anytime you speak of the creation from the theme song to like it shows that you put a lot of thought into each choice.
Yeah.
Well, it's well documented. Your theme song is such a strong part of the Joe Hendry package. And sticking with just TNA, I'm curious, what are some of your favorite theme songs? Do you have any in your mind of other people over the years?
My favorite theme is the Hollywood Rock theme, the one from
Okay.
2003.
Yeah.
That theme to me, I took a lot of inspiration from that. You know, obviously there's so many iconic ones, but that is my personal favorite.
That's great. Yeah, no, the Hollywood Rock one is cool. And it's really cool that we're now seeing it back in a new type of way, like a remix. Well, so you've had a lot of great career moments so far in TNA, and I feel like it's only just begun. You just captured that world title recently, so we're seeing Joe Hendry. I don't know if you've given it thought yet, but you're a big part of TNA history, you know, regardless. What would you like your legacy to be looked at when it's said and done in TNA or along the way?
So I can't speak on legacy in terms of my whole career because where I am now is so wildly different to where I was a year ago. So I can't possibly predict that. But when people talk about my title reign and my journey to the championship, I want people to talk about record business for TNA. I want it to be about business. I want it to be about getting bigger crowds, getting noticed, you know, just ascending through the professional wrestling business. I want people to associate my championship title run and my run to the championship with an increase in business. With me as the TNA World Champion and the Hardys as the tag team champions, that to me is big business for TNA. That's how I want that type to be defined.
Absolutely. And no more exciting time than right now in wrestling and in TNA specifically. Well, Joe, thank you so much for your time. I know it's a busy week. Like I said, TNA Unbreakable this Thursday, TNA Rebellion following that April 27th. Plus, you're doing a lot this week. So it's gonna be a great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Speedy recovery.
.com.
Rewind, recap, relive. Woo! It's what the world is watching.